We are going to talk about archiving and compressing data. And I will focus on gzip and tar. So how do you compress and decompress files under Linux? And how do you create an archive? And that is a tarball. So compressing files on Linux are generally done with utilities like gzip, bzip2, or zip. Gzip is a very commonly used compression utility. It is a replacement for a tool that was called compress. It has much better compression, and there are no patented algorithms in gzips. And that is the standard compression system you will be using on all GNU software. So that is definitely the recommended compression system. It has some options. -D for decompress the files instead. Shortcut is gzip, G-unzip, which I'm usually using. It's easier to remember, I feel. -R, recursively compress or decompress directories and their contents. -K, if you want to keep the original file or files after compression. Or -V for display verbose output, where you show also the compression ratio and other details. So let's go ahead and change to the directory exercises arch. We have it here. And I'm going to try and compress a file. And please code along if you want to. So this directory arch under exercises. And let's gzip a file. See what happens. It does it without saying anything. Then let's see how it looks. It has gzipped it, and it's gone away, of course, because it's not keeping it. So I should probably, let's try g-unzip it. And then try again and see what's here. And then you can see that it compressed it from 229 bytes to 180. Not so much, but on the other hand, it was a text file. Small file, that. And as you can see, if we are not using the option -K, then it's not keeping either this one here when it unzips it, or the original file when it zips it. So you can keep it if you want to with -K. And you can, let's try and also use it with -D. And I'm going to also try and add the -K now to show how it looks. So let's look into the file first. We have it here. We're using gzip, and we say -K, and that means that it should now keep it. Let's look at all of the files here. Yes, it's indeed still here. And what happens then if I am decompressing it again? And I'm adding -K. Then it will ask, do we want to overwrite it? Because of course, if you are unzipping this file here, then you would create a file with the name that was already there. So let's try to do that. Let's say that's -LA. And then we can see here we kept the compressed file, and we overwrote this one with the original content. So what if we want to compress all the files in a directory? Sure, we can do that. Let's see what's in dir2. There are 3 files and 1 directory. So let's gzip recursively the dir2. Let's see. Now I have recursively gzipped each of the files within dir2 and within dir4 because it went recursively all the way. But it did not archive them, as you can see. It did not create one zip file or gzip file. It just zipped them one at a time. And you can also unzip with, for instance, gunzip or gzip minus D, and then minus R in this case because it's recursive. It's back as it is. So if you want to archive, you use tar instead. If you want to combine it to one file, bzip is a very commonly used compression tool as well. It compresses more. So if you have big files, you may be using bzip or bzip2. It takes a bit longer to do so though, but it has better compression. So you can use that if you have huge files. We used that, I remember when I studied astronomy and we had huge image files. So slow, but better compression. Zip is something you may recognize better. And you can use zip instead of gzip if you want to. It behaves the way that you expect. There is, however, a thing where the maximum size limit is 4 gigabyte, and the file becomes prone to corruption if it's exceeded, so that's not good. Again, let's look at a few examples. If you have some files here, you can zip it. So zip, and then if I wanted to zip a file, .text, I will just create a zip file, a file.zip, and I am going to zip a file.text. And then it is creating the zip file with this name, which contains this here. And it tells me deflated at 34%. So you can see here, it also has another thing here, which is that this is the original file. It is 229 bytes. Gzip got that down to 180. A file.zip, the zip got it down, or rather up, to 320 bytes. And the reason for this is that that is actually also archiving. So there is some metadata in this. So let's compress all files in one directory to a single archive. Zip minus R for recursive and dir1 zip and dir1. And then it creates a zip file, this, for dir1, and it contains everything inside of the directory dir1. Let's see what's inside dir1. it's 3 files. So in this case, we didn't get each of them zipped separately. We got them zipped together into an arc. It's compressed. So zip does that, which gzip doesn't. You can also compress all files of a certain type. You could also have gzipped all files of a certain type. And you can do that by saying zip -r, whatever you want to name this thing. Everything in this directory. -I. And then let's take everything that is, let's take all C parts. And you could have done this with gzip as well. So you can see here the common options are the same. Okay, so as you saw, it's true that zip zips to an archive as well, but gzip doesn't, and gzip is the recommended one. So what do I do then if I want to create a archive with just one file with my compressed files? Well, you usually do that with tar. And it concatenates files into an archive file. And you can also use it to restore individual files. Automatic archive compression decompression options exists. So you can just give a option to tar, which you saw when we untarred the compressed tar wall with the exercises. So it's possible to use gzip or zip or bzip2 or a number of other compression tools together with tar. So that is useful. And tar is originally meant to do to take magnetic tape storage, reading and writing data for a sequential I/O device, which didn't have a file system. And the name is short for the format description tape archive. So that's where it comes from. I don't remember how old tar is, but given that it was something like this, it was used for, I'm guessing, early 70s or older. A tar ball is commonly used name to refer to an archive file in the tape archive tar format. And they can be compressed with gzip, bzip2, and the others. And you have flags to do this automatically. I think I read that they think of it as a ball of tar that is rolling down a hill and grabbing everything, just like this is grabbing all the files. So that is the imagery that I want you to have. So your tar, options, name of the archive, and the files or directories you wish to add to the archive. -C creates a new archive. -A does auto-compress, and it will be automatically determined by the name extension if you do it that way. -R, and that is short for -append. So it appends files to the end of an archive, so you can take an archive and add more to it. -X, this extracts files. -F, if used for specifying the archive's name. -T, if you just want to see what's inside of it. And -V, verbose, show a list of processed files. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this. So we can create a tar ball. And let's try and do that. Tar -CF, and then arch tar, and then I'm going to created for this directory while inside of it, which is kind of weird. You can do that, it just didn't contain itself as well, so that's fine. Let's go up. So this one here contains everything in the directory except for itself. You should normally have created it outside it, but it doesn't matter. Works fine. Put everything into it, and now also launch. So if you want to, let's see what size it is. It simply has the complete size of everything that was inside of it concatenated. So to extract it, you do tar minus xvf and then arch tar. And there is this thing with tar, it overwrites and it doesn't ask. So be careful. Also, do you want to compress it? We can do that in one go. Tar minus, and then we say set because we want to gzip it. We say C, create a table, verbose, see what files goes into it, and F, let's name it. I'm going to name it arch tar gset, which is commonly known. And then we take the directory. And now we have arch tar gset. And to uncompress it, we do tar minus set x instead for extract vf. And yes, as I said, it overwrites and it doesn't ask. So be careful. Okay, it's high time to move